All right. Hey, we are live. Hello out there. Hi, Animal Allies. I'm gonna wait a minute or so as give people a chance to join us. We have such a great guest and a great program tonight that you'll want to be here and stay till the end. Okay? You'll want to be here throughout. So if you're joining us live, how are you? Go ahead and what's happening in your part of the world? Please say hello in the comments if you'd like to. And what activism did you participate in this week? And share any wins. I think that there are wins. I don't always follow every single one of them. So if there's any wins that you guys experienced this week, go ahead and that's the good juice that we all need, the good juju as activists. What wins happened this past week? Go ahead and put them in the comment section and we'll get started right about now. Okay, so welcome to another AAC live stream program. In this live stream, we'll be confronting dog meat farmer Molly Elwood of Elwood's Dog Meat, Elwood's Organic Dog Meat, excuse me, because WTF, dog meat farming, really? Absolutely ludicrous and abhorrent. We need to challenge this. But before we start our program, my name is Michelle Granberg. I'm a moderator, mentor, and advisory board member with Animal Activism Collective. For those new to AAC, AAC was created to assist activists in reaching their goals and equip them with the tools, community, and resources they need to boldly participate in our global animal liberation movement. Founded in 2020, AAC offers a 3-month mentorship program which pairs experienced activists with aspiring activists. It's a free program and you can apply today to become a mentor or mentee through our website. Plus, we are much more than a mentorship program. We offer free educational live streams and online trainings. We have a podcast called the Animal Liberation Hour. Please listen. We host large-scale, in-person, collaborative activism events around the country. We have a bunch of 2025 convergences coming up, including Ohio and New York City. Follow us for dates and details. Follow our socials. AAC is a support system and a resource designed to empower all types of grassroots activism. All right, now, so we get to move on to our guest. Molly Elwood is head farmer of Elwood's Dog Meat. You heard me right. A family-owned and operated organic dog meat farm selling sustainably raised meat through her website. Horrific even to say it. I can't even believe I am saying this. We will ask for your questions in the comment section in just a while. Please, as always, keep them polite, appropriate, and on topic. All right. Also, folks, some of this will be hard to hear, but hang in there with us, okay? So AAC welcomes Molly Elwood. Welcome, Molly.
Hi, thanks for having me.
It's really good to have you, I think.
Well,
So,
it's really nice. I just want to say off the top, a lot of vegans don't even have the guts to talk to farmers, so it's really nice for you to take the time, and give me a chance to speak. So,
well, that's my intention, So frankly, when I discovered your business, I was shocked and appalled, and I'm sure most compassionate animal lovers out there as well. But I want to give you a chance to defend dog meat farming, and we'll let the public decide how they feel about it, right?
yeah,
So I
yeah.
think you wanted to get started, so letting us know how you got started with dog meat farming. I think you want to share a video commercial.
Yeah, yeah. So first, yeah, again, thanks for having me. It's really nice to be given the chance to share our side of the story. A lot of people have a lot of opinions about dog meat farming, and they've never stepped foot on a dog meat farm. So it's strange to have any opinions about something without having seen it firsthand. So first, I'm going to share our first TV commercial that was aired just 2 years ago.
For over 20 years, the tradition of providing wholesome dog meat to local families and beyond began with our step-uncle. His passion for a sustainable family farm was instilled in us. Taste and tradition, quality and friendly service is what our family has strived to offer our customers since 1981. Now with over 50 different dog meat and dairy products to choose from, You can find us at local grocery stores, farmers markets, or come visit us here at Elwood Farms to experience the amazing flavor of fresh, local dog meat. With our hands-on approach, we strive to produce high-quality dog products every day, from the way we care for our packs through to production and distribution. Great tasting dog is simple. We care. Elwood Dog Meat. We're a family farm.
Yeah, so that kind of gives you a feel for our farm. We're small, we're local, we're second generation. And in fact, if you follow us on Facebook, I'm not sure if the share went up today, but it will in the next couple, if not today, tomorrow. A farmer has recently copied our video, made it almost word for word, showing that, the way that we treat our dogs is the way that all animals are treated, humanely and ethically from farm to table.
Yeah, does that happen a lot?
The copying, yes. I mean, actually, it's really my background's in advertising. I haven't always been a dog meat farmer, but this my step uncle started this farm, and I decided to change my life. I wanted to go back to the countryside. I wanted to put my hands in the dirt. I wanted to just be really in touch with things. So I started helping with the farm, and what's really funny is the ads that I make, they seem to be echoed across advertisements that I see everywhere now. And it's, we love using the same words. It's organic, things are free range, local, family owned. And these words really make people feel good.
Yeah, so I mean the ads certainly I can see the strategy of it, placing it in a wholesome, family context. But I'm
Yeah.
sure you're aware that, of course, Americans especially love their dogs. And I think like 60% of households, something like that, have dogs living with them. So, given that, when we focus on the dog, like, given that dogs are sentient, intelligent beings who suffer and feel pain, how do you justify it? And how do you reconcile the cruelty and the killing?
Well, we use the word harvesting, not killing, because that's what we do at the farm. We harvest them. And also, again, these dogs aren't pets. You like to talk about dogs that are living in people's homes and have beds and costumes and ponchos and drink puppuccinos. These aren't dogs like that. These are dogs that are raised for it. They've never had names. They've never been pets. Most of them have never been inside a building that is not a barn. So they're not pets, and a lot of people miss that. And it's funny, we get a lot of hate mail because of that. We get a lot of voicemails, and I brought some, if you would be willing to let me share some of them, just to kind of share the pushback and the hate that we get.
Yeah, that would be great. Go ahead and share
All
those.
right. And I just want to say there will be some swearing, not by me, but by these so-called dog lovers, which I
Hmm.
also have to say that if we weren't breeding these dogs, they wouldn't exist. So I don't know how they can call themselves animal lovers with that approach. So I'll give this a minute.
Is this a joke? Are you guys for real that you actually are breeding dogs and eating them and selling dog meat? You must be in the backwoods somewhere in West Virginia. I'll tell you right now, I never heard of some shit, and I just saw it on Facebook. You guys fucking sick.
My wife just showed me a Facebook post, and the only thing I can tell you is there a special place in hell for people like you. How dare y'all do stuff like that? Luckily, y'all don't live close to me. That's all I gotta say. How dare y'all? Y'all sick sons.
Is this a fucking joke? Is this a joke? You guys actually do this to dogs? Oh, Jesus Christ. You guys are gonna go to hell.
There's no fucking way this is real. You guys are not cooking, fucking killing dogs. If so, we got a fucking problem.
So you can understand to come on be interviewed by vegans is I'm a bit trepidatious, because this is the kind of feedback I get from vegans every day for just doing my job.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's a lot of hate in that and a lot of judgment in there and
Mhm.
shock.
Yeah.
So but isn't there any way you can put yourself in their position, the people who are calling and understanding? For you, it seems like there's a disconnect between the way that people love dogs and what you do to dogs.
Well, I don't, again, the phrasing is very aggressive to say, what do I do to dogs? I don't do things to dogs. People pay for this to happen to dogs. Every day, every time they choose what to put on their plate, they're the ones doing this. I'm just we're just the tools to get it done humanely and ethically. And so I think a lot of people are also a bit hypocritical. I think that some of the people making these phone calls may be eating other animals, and yet they seem to have be putting this other animal up on a pedestal, an animal which is frankly dumber than a pig. So I don't really get the hyperbole.
Well, I mean, to me, that sounds like a bit of an excuse because you are thinking of dogs as products or commodities. And so where in this, don't you ever feel attached to the dogs? They have personalities. Do you ignore that? Do you
It's
ever name them? Like, where's your
Well,
compassion and your empathy?
it's really hard to get attached to dogs when you're processing thousands of them a month. I mean, really, thousands of them, literally. Like, there's no way they develop personalities, especially when they're not spending any time with people. They spend times with themselves. They are not. They don't know how to sit. They don't know how to stay. They're very aggressive, and they've been bred. Again, they've been bred for this, which makes them completely different than the dogs that are in your home. It's people try and make this comparison of pet dogs and meat dogs, but the only thing that's similar is that they taste the same.
Well, I mean, certainly I think most of us vegans would say it's really quite the opposite, that they are the same in every way that matters. And there really is no difference in terms of they have a heart that beats and blood that pumps, and they have personalities and they suffer and feel pain. But talk a little bit about the breeding, because I know people will want to know, like, what is your breeding process that you say is so kind or ethical, or do you artificially inseminate? Do you separate puppies from their mothers?
Well, it depends on the size of the breed. Our small picnic breeds, they are inseminate each other as nature intended. Our larger breeds have been bred so large that they actually are not physically able to breed naturally. So we use artificial insemination just as it's done on cows. So again, we follow USDA standards and general practice. So I don't think you want to go into the specifics of electroejaculation or all those pieces of it. But yeah, so they're bred. We separate the puppies when especially our dairy dogs get separated. Some of them do get to stay as a family, though. I mean, you get to see them out on the pasture, and it's fine. I mean, generally, a lot of them only have one bad day. They don't know what's happening to them. They don't know this is their only summer. They just think that this is one of the best summers of their lives, and it is because it's the only one. Um, but
Mm.
yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, well, I mean, certainly you're right. This is echoing true of what we hear from, cow farmers and pig farmers and chicken farmers as well. And, just that cognitive dissonance that farmers will often have, overlooking that these animals are crying and that they want to escape and that they,
I can I interrupt you for a second though? You're
yeah.
saying that the farmers have cognitive dissonance, and I don't think that that's the case.
Hmm.
I think it's if you want to talk about cognitive dissonance, it's the consumers who are the people who are calling me and leaving these messages. Those are the people who are extremely upset about what's happening to animals, and yet they're doing the things to the animals by the other animals.
Hmm.
Whereas farmers, one of the things about farmers that I really think that vegans should and everyone should understand is this is hard work. When Let's be frank here, when you say, do I get attached to animals? Of course I do. Some of them I do get attached to, and I have to push down those feelings in order to get through the day, in order to make the money, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to put food on my own family's table. So by paying for this to happen, you are making farmers have to make these hard choices. You make them have to almost lose their humanity. You've got farmers, whenever farmers are caught on camera beating an animal or doing something, something horrible to an animal, you have to understand that they have to do that because they have such strict, process lines that how many numbers let me start over. How We have to make sure that we meet our quota. And in order to meet our quota, I have to treat these animals like objects because otherwise, how am I going to sleep at night? So it's not my cognitive dissonance. It's as a farmer, it's the cognitive dissonance of the people who've made me have to do this. So I just want to
Yeah.
I want to step up. I want to step up and speak up for all farmers here.
Yeah. Well, I
It's
mean, I'm not
hard.
surprised. I'm not surprised to hear you defend yourself and what you're doing every single day and defend other farmers as well. And I mean, it comes off as a bit kind of cold because the animals are the bloody victims here. But this is from your website. You claim that your dogs are free range, local, organic, fresh. Oh,
Mhm.
never frozen, free from antibiotics, sustainably raised, humanely slaughtered,
Mhm.
and loved. You dare to say that I don't know how that is love in my mind. Give me a break. So, talk a bit about, so people really transparently want to know how you raise them. You say it's humane and organic. What does that mean? And what's your actual process that backs up these claims?
Well, we do not cram our animals in cages. They all have space enough to turn around. Most of them have access to daylight. They can reach a door if they can find one. They can, again, some of them get to stay with their families. Um, they are loved. They're not beaten every day. They have a few, hiccups along the way when they're first born. Maybe we have to trim their toes or their nose or their ears or their teeth or their tails. But they don't really remember it. That's just they get through that day and then they get to be fed and then they get to have somewhere warm to sleep and yada 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 they end up on your plate. It's the process that all animals have to go through in order to be consumed. I'm not trying to sugarcoat it, but I'm not trying to say that it's bad to kill a dog for meat. If you're going to kill any animal, which animal actually would like to help humans? It's probably a dog.
Yeah, well, I mean, in terms of, starting to get into a bit of, the ethics of this here and, the business of it is from your point of view. But from the animal's point of view, you know, does that ever keep you up at night thinking about that? And also you made some claims that dog meat is healthy. Is there any studies to back that up? Not that that really justifies
Well,
anything.
I want to point out you're saying a dog has a point of view. Have you ever seen a dog chase his own tail? He doesn't have a point of view. They eat their own poop. I mean, it's to try and say a dog has an opinion about something. Uh, like even if you stepped on a dog's paw, that noise he makes, that's just responding to stimuli. It's not actually thinking. As for the studies about dog meat, they're still out, but we are paying for a study right now to prove that it has lower cholesterol and is more heart healthy than chicken or turkey.
Yeah, so I'm going to let you just tell people about the different breeds that you raise and sell. It's all on your website, but I want people to hear it because I'm going to say they're going to get a sense of feeling really sick and really cringy as you talk about this and getting angry and upset. But we want to bring it out there. You talk about what else besides Labrador steaks, what are the different breeds that you sell and raise there at the farm?
Well, at the risk of making your vegan audience mad, again, keep in mind they're raised for it, which makes it completely fine. We have Labradors, we have pugs. Pug bacon is one of our top sellers. We have Sea Spaniel, which is very soft. It's very salmon-like. It's very squishy. We do Pyrenees, which are raised for the hair as well as for their meat, which is great. to have dual purpose. We really love to use all animals' parts from nose to tail, everything but the bark. That's what we say. We also do Rottweilers, we do Beagles, we do Pomeranians. We have a whole mess of picnic breeds, which are like Yorkies and Chihuahuas and everything, and they all follow the. We were guided for how we process them, follow the processes that are done for chickens. And so we call them picnic breeds because it's one that can feed one can feed a family. If you wanted to go take them out for just like, an afternoon, you can rotisserie it and bring it in a little container. It's nice and just eat it right off the bone. Um, but yeah, and we do some nice specialty breeds, especially around the holidays. Look forward to we do a turducken, which is three dogs stuffed inside one of each other. It's like traditionally it's like a Rottweiler with a lab inside of it, and then a Yorkie inside of that, and it's all wrapped and seasoned with our special Cajun spice.
Oh my gosh. So you're telling me that people are actually buying from you? Like there are people out there like you who actually have a positive response and
Yeah,
they are happy to pay for you to exploit and to ultimately, what did you call it? You didn't say kill,
harvest.
harvest, which is
We
like just a
harvest.
euphemism, really.
It's facts. It's what we're doing. We're harvesting their bodies for meat. Yeah, and I mean, we wouldn't have been around since 1981 if we didn't have customers. So we have lots of people. We have a lot of people who meet us at our farmers markets. We have people who come and they do farm tours. We do DIY dog harvests. You can sign up for one of those events on Facebook. We do them every month throughout the entire year. You can bring your kids. You can learn how to you can bring your own backyard dogs to do it. But again, no pets. We don't want to eat any animal that has been vaccinated with something that's not USDA approved for consumption.
And we do have a question
Hmm.
based on what we're talking about from Alicia. So are the teacup varieties a weight premium, or is Molly slipping in just the large dogs for higher profit? So here's one of your
Teacups.
people, one of your
One of the
people.
teacups. Yeah, we do we do sell teacup breeds, but again, we recommend you harvest them before year two. Before year two. Otherwise, they will get very large, much larger than your space probably, and they become a big handful, and they're much harder to harvest after they go over a certain weight.
So the majority of the dogs that you harvest are what age? Are babies practically? Are puppies?
I
I
mean,
mean,
there people like to say that. They like to say, "Oh, you're killing babies," but they're not babies. They're really big dogs. Again, like at 14 months, a dog is it's a full-size dog. I mean, they may still have that limp, loose kind of loosey-goosey behavior, but they're full grown. Especially the picnic breeds, which have been bred to grow extremely fast, extremely quick, and extremely large. And so those are actually harvested about 9 to 10 months.
and I'm not actually looking to out you here in any way, but is this even legal to have a dog meat farm do this? And ethics aside, is it legal? And it just seems like such another form of elitism and human supremacy.
Well, it is elite, but it's more like elite in the way of foodie elite. Like the
Yeah.
fact that you can access this is it's for people who have the income to pay for specialty meats, and it is legal because we have been doing this again. We've been doing it for 40 years, and we were grandfathered in our location, so we know the the police in our area, and they are allowing us to continue. And it is illegal to do it in other places, but that is actually why we are able to expand under our name. We have farms actually now around the world because it's illegal in so many places, but because of the Elwood name, anybody who's under our umbrella can get away with it, you might say. But
Well, I think this is really shocking news to so many vegans, and it sort of is to me. And we know that legal doesn't necessarily mean ethical, but we have a question, which is from Lambretta. What do the dogs eat? What do you feed the dogs?
they're fed a plant-based diet.
Okay, I don't understand that. So,
Well, it's soy free, but it is grain intensive, and they're finished on grass. A lot of people say that they don't want to eat carnivores, which is funny because the animal actually tastes very similar. But we have found that by feeding them different plants, that it actually does affect the flavor of the meat, and so we make sure that The animals are all fed a plant-based diet. And they're actually, a lot of people are also concerned saying, it's not healthy to feed dogs a vegan diet. But what's really great about it is if you harvest them at 16 months, they're not old enough for having to have any known problems based on, especially the being grass-fed at the end, grass finished. People are very concerned about that, but turns out dogs can do just fine. They also really like grapes.
I thought that grapes were toxic for dogs. I'm really a
Again,
little
it doesn't, they
concerned.
don't, they're not alive long enough for it to have a problem.
So it's so ironic that you feed them a plant-based diet, and yet I'm assuming you eat dog
Yeah.
yourself,
Hmm.
that you eat the dogs that you
Yeah.
harvest.
Yeah, I'm actually vegan. I'm actually vegan except for dog meat, and I think that I think a lot of your audience could use that. I think that, we're not getting as a vegan, you're not getting enough B12, you're not getting enough iron. It's sometimes really hard to open doors because they're really heavy. So, you need to add some more protein, and this is the quickest, most humane dog meat. It's more ethical than farming all that soy for tofu.
Yeah, well, all this sounds pretty crazy and all over the place and like a lot of sort of double speak here, I really feel. So I don't know, Molly, anything else you want to say about that? Because I think I want to maybe do a big reveal here.
Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're good. I think I've said everything I need to say.
I want to say I appreciate the folks who are planning some questions in the comments section, but now, switching gears, the big reveal here is, exhale, is that there are no dogs. There's no dog farming. There's no farm.
There's no
None of this is
farm. There's
real.
no
It's 100%
dogs.
fake. 100% fake versus
No
100%.
dogs.
Thank,
Mm-mm.
thank goodness. So Elwood's dog meat is a form of satirical activism. It's basically a spoof. I've heard you call it an art project. And I'm so impressed. This is the first time I've done this, had to play a sort of a part or a role. You do this often, and it's part of what you're doing. So how do you stay so calm and stay in character? And let's talk a little bit now more honestly about
Yeah.
your goal with this.
Yeah. So, one of the best things, and it took me a while to get there, because I used to have a lot of notes memorized, especially for interviews like this, because I'm always feeling like, especially vegan activists, they know all the facts. They know everything down pat, and you can tell me right now how many animals are killed in a minute, and how many fish are, and all this stuff, and you're like, oh, well, I gotta have this ready for a farmer, but then you realize vegan bingo is a thing because as a meat eater, you have like 15 things that you can just bounce between. And all I have to do is get you to ask me a question and I answer it. And then you try and ask a follow-up. And then I bounce to the next thing. And you just have to keep following me. And I don't ever have to answer any questions. And that's the most frustrating thing. And that's actually probably why I started Elwood Dog Meat because I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle following people through their logic, which was not logical, that no one could stay on one topic long enough to get to the bottom of it because I don't think they actually believe it. They just, here's a handful of things that I've barely thought about. I'm just going to throw them in the air. So that's kind of,
That's
that's
been your
been my
journey up
recent,
getting better at this.
yeah. So getting better, like, turns out if you stop taking it so seriously, it becomes much easier.
Yeah. Yeah, so we want to talk now about this angle of it because we have a lot of activists here and we want to give them some training. But behind the scenes, Trey wants us just to clear up the grape comment you made, just in case someone takes that
Yeah,
seriously.
don't feed dogs grapes at all.
Don't.
It's
It is
no, it's
toxic.
they're toxic. It was based on a I do a lot of stuff that's like I post a lot of things that are inflammatory and I feel bad hitting the send button, but I just like to hope that the purpose of that, like, say, like posting a picture, I posted a picture of a chihuahua eating grapes and it sparked so many comments specifically about that, but then that made it spread. So
And they don't look it up. You think they just look it up.
no, I
I
know.
don't
No,
know.
no, no, no. But no, I'm just saying that the comments are about you
Oh,
shouldn't be feeding dogs grapes, but
okay.
that
So,
is
all
great for
right.
making that specific thing go viral. And I was like, it's a stock photo. I didn't feed a dog grapes. So
Yeah.
anyway,
So, yeah. How
just
did you start all this? I don't know if you want to share any
yeah,
slide, like a
yeah,
larger
yeah. Let
message,
me
because this is
share.
satirical activism. And it's a new, not new, but it's creative and it's innovative activism.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna share just I'll share just a little bit. I'm not sure what the order of my slides are, so you'll be surprised as I am when I hit the next one. Let's see. It started actually with this idea was I've been doing vegan activism for a while, but not like really. I'd done Keep It Truth a couple times, and I was writing blogs and arguing with people on Twitter. And then I was driving a lot and I was like, I want to make a bumper sticker that just says Elwood's organic dog meat, just to make people mad. And it was like, I wanted to advertise it and make it look real, like I was selling it. And then I wanted a second bumper sticker next to it that just says, why you mad, bro? Like, go vegan. And then I was like, oh, maybe I should put a website where they could go to make people go even deeper. And then after that, I made the website. I was like, oh, I should probably make social media so people can actually find this other than just me driving around. And so I just made this whole thing myself because, again, my background is actually in advertising. Definitely not design, as you can see from this. But I've had so much fun because, at least in my advertising brain, it'd be like, what would a family farm do? And you see advertisements like this all the time in rural America, like this, what can I do with clip art? And you can make magnets. So I was really excited that you can just make stuff. And so I just started making stuff. And I think that that is kind of, this is my website. Um, this is what you're reading before, the free range, local, organic. One of the cool things that I love about I'm thinking back on this. This was definitely not, this was, I made this because I was mad and I had time and it made me happy. But that's kind of like been my message going forward is like, if something makes you mad and you compare it with something that makes you happy, you should do that and find out what you can do and make stuff for yourself. You don't have to make it for other people. If it makes you happy, you're going to find other people who it's going to make or it's going to meet them where they are. Um, and so then when I made the social media, one of the things I told myself is I wanted to take all my posts and in the website as well. I wanted everything to be word for word using their words because one of the things that vegans are always accused of is saying, oh, you're exaggerating and that's not true. But if you say exactly what they say and you just switch it to dog, suddenly people are really upset and I don't have to exaggerate anything. And that's one of the reasons I have really dug into this humane, local, ethical, organic, whatever. It doesn't matter if the the best treatment of a chicken going to slaughter is you wouldn't allow that for a dog. You wouldn't even allow it. You wouldn't take allow your pet dog who has lived on a pillow its whole life, his or her whole life, and then slaughter her. That's still not good enough. So it turns out you don't have to make much exaggeration. So, but still,
Yeah.
people send you messages like that. So
Well, let me clarify. So with your content, you swap out, you copy and paste literally from farmers' language word for word, and you
yep.
swap out the breeds of the
Yes.
dogs or the word dog.
Yeah, so this says holding someone's future breakfast, pork producer, and it says just holding somebody's future breakfast with a pug. I have gotten more away from this recently, like in the last year or so, just because I've been doing this now for 4 years, and I was spending so much time getting angry on farm Instagram, and unfortunately now this voice is just in my head. I can just type this in my sleep. So I've started making my own stuff. But I try really hard to not exaggerate. That's my point is I don't think we don't have to. You don't have to exaggerate what happens to the animals. One of the other things I like to do, the thing that I still do now, is I like to use their stories because the stories of what happens to the animals, news stories are generally not seen by the general population. Or in this application here, this woman's is talking about how all of her her pig farm burnt up, and you can see how many animals are behind her. And she's like, oh, 5,600 of our pigs died. But at the same time is we're rebuilding. It's great. So if you do that with dogs, people get really mad. And it's a way to elevate these stories in a way that other people wouldn't see them. If, a truck full of cows a truck full of chickens crashes on the highway, no one really sees it. But if it was a truck full of dogs, people would be horrified. So, um, yeah. These are just some,
Yeah. It gives people ideas. So have you seen
yeah.
people, sort of borrowing your ideas on their own, or
Yeah,
people
yeah.
share your content a lot?
Yeah, they do. So I'm gonna stop sharing just for right now. Um, so Yeah, they a lot of people do it, and it's funny. It started off. Sometimes I would see people doing dog meat tastings on their own, with, and I now have like, I mean, I have a lot of stuff for people to do it, but I'm really excited because now a lot of people are doing dog meat stuff or related, or, I think I saw PETA just recently did it was like a songbird, songbird tasting and stuff.
Mm.
And so like the idea is sticky and it works really well, and you don't have to have a lot to get this conversation going. And that's what I really love about it.
Yeah, it's like I don't, I want to say you're responsible for it. I mean, I don't know.
I
Are we sort of
invented dog meat.
starting?
No, it's not. No,
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 you
no.
invented, yes, you invented dog meat. Yeah.
hmm
But this whole
No.
branch of, this prong of activism, satirical acting, you perfected it maybe, or
I
you
maybe
brought
I
it
think I
forward
just
more.
I put more time into it maybe. But I mean a lot of people there was and I believe I hope I get his name right. Was it Red Pill Pete who did
Yes.
yes, and he did I was on an interview with him when I first started doing this, when I first went viral, and he had before me, a few months or maybe the year before, had been interviewed as a dog meat farmer on the local news.
Mhm.
And it was just, and he had gone out and done dog meat tastings, and it was, I didn't even know that he existed. And that's one of the cool things too, is like when you get stuff in the ether, you really just want people to have ideas to go out and feel empowered to do things. And right after the first time I spoke with you, it was I
Mhm.
had just had a mobile billboard in Las Vegas. And it was just, I'd raised money to do this thing. And I was like, this would be really fun. And I made a dog meat ad on one of those trucks, and it rolled around Las Vegas on the Las Vegas Strip. And one of the comments I had gotten was somebody asked me, they said, like, who did you have to ask? What permission, who did you ask to get permission to do this? And I had this laugh because I was just suddenly going, I don't know, God? Like, I don't know. Who do you ask for permission to? You don't, turns out you don't have to. I mean, you have to make sure that you're not breaking any laws.
Right. You don't want to slander, but it's freedom of speech.
Yeah, that's one
Oh,
of
you
the
mean,
great
did they
things
mean
about this.
permission to put a billboard up or
I don't
permission
know
to
who they were
say,
asking, but that is the question I think we ask as vegans. Like when you want to do something, you're like, oh, I should ask my local vegan activism chapter before I do something. I should ask I don't know, who would you ask permission to get an ad up? And it turns out like before I even did dog meat, I wanted to make vegan billboards. Like they're there. There's billboards waiting for your idea, and the people selling the billboards want your money. So unless it's, well, dog meat, actually, I have a lot of hard time putting up dog meat ads, but a lot of your vegan ads you can make an ad for. And if not, you can make magnets for your car, or you can make a website, or you can make a social media
please,
account. Just make
please
stuff.
do maybe. Okay. And so they can reach out to you
Yes, yes,
for those
yeah.
materials through the what through the website,
Yeah.
I guess, or
Yeah,
not
so
sure.
through my website, if you
IG.
actually I'm going to type this in so you have it. elwood.com/farm hands. Elwood dog meat. Okay.
Yeah, while you're
I
doing that, we're still open for questions. We do have a
Yes.
few questions that are that are coming through right now, but I wanted
Yeah.
to reference the website is really a piece of genius. I'm sure you were hands-on with that. I don't know if you did the whole thing or if you designed it, but I've heard you say that you use it like a puzzle, like people enter the website angrily, and then it leads people to sort of break the
Yeah.
spell of speciesism and carnism. Like that's your larger mission and what in terms of
Yep.
what you hope to accomplish, to pierce through the cognitive dissonance. So that works,
Yeah.
as far as you
Yes.
know. Some
Yeah, it does. And so that's actually what yeah, so I built the website. I want to get an ad on Wix. I just want to be like, I built my whole dog meat farm in a week using Wix. But they haven't gotten back to me about that ad. But no, the idea is it looks real. And if you as you roll through it, it says, "Are you confused?" You're like, "But," and then I will reiterate why, like all the farm terms, but it's local, but it's organic. And then I give the voice of the reader going, but I love my dog and I would never let anything happen to my dog. And then I attribute that quote saying, that's probably what you're thinking. But if this was Elwood's organic pig meat, how would you feel? And why would you feel that way considering dogs are dumber than pig? Like it was just kind of like, and then at the very end, I say, just to let you know, this is not real. but I want you to think through any of the anger or feelings it has brought up. And then there's this like breaking the fourth wall moment too, where you have to say, look, I know as you read this, you're going to feel discomfort and anger, and also know that those feelings are completely normal because we don't want to think about these things. Because I
Right.
think that is one of the things that you need to be able to have these conversations that break that wall down of conversation. Because if you're having a conversation with somebody about veganism, they're going to get tight, they're going to get tense, they're going to get defensive. And you have to tell them that that's okay. And I know that that's what's happening to you.
Hmm.
Because one of the things, even like outside of these types of conversations, when you talk about emotions, when you name them, they become a lot less powerful and you can observe them and you can say, hey, look, oh, I am feeling a bit defensive. What is that about? She's right. And maybe they're not going to think about it right now in that interaction, but they'll walk away and go, I was defensive. What is that about?
Right.
And the whole point of Elwoods is my activism's not like Cube of Truth. I'm not trying to close the deal. I'm not saying, are you going vegan today? And as I find that to be very powerful as well. But this is a different type of activism. This is an activism that I want people to take their own journey. I'm mimicking the journey that I went on, which was I did a whole bunch of research one night and I convinced myself to go vegan. And I find that to be very powerful. People need to ask the questions and find their own answers and decide for themselves how they
Hmm.
feel. And that, I mean, not for again, this is not everybody. This is just in my experience. And I think that that's what Elwoods does is if I can get a brochure in their hand, I don't care if they walk away thinking it's real. I want them to have those emotions as long as possible. I want them to tell as many people about it. And then they have to have conversations. If I told you today that there was a dog meat farm and I'm really upset about it, and then 3 days later that person finds it, they're like, no, no, it's fake. That's a conversation now. You're going to be like, remember when I thought there was this dog meat farm? So,
Yeah. Because it's not every day. I mean, it's so people probably shake their heads at first, like in disbelief, and that
yeah.
itself sort of pierces the veil of their usual ordinary robotic way of thinking and being in the world. Like, what?
Yeah.
Somebody's doing this? And then you're right, you're causing a cascade of questions, of
Hmm.
self-reflection, planting seeds that will
Well,
grow because the
yeah.
idea behind this is everybody is compassionate deep down. We're born, and if someone is angry, it means that their hearts are not completely closed. And as you're
Hmm.
starting to talk more about the responses and reactions, we heard some of the voicemails as a sampling.
Hmm.
And one of the questions is, do you get reactions from non-vegan people who know the farm isn't real, but it still makes them think?
Yes, definitely. I get a lot of messages. I have actually a lot of people who follow the account aren't vegan. A lot of people start following it because they think it's funny. And then they'll get halfway through it and go, wait a minute, this one isn't funny. And they'll message me or they'll comment and said, I started following because this was funny. This is not funny. And I'm like, my canned response is, I'm not sure what's funny about a family farm. Like none of this is it's coincidentally funny, but when you get down to it, I am deadly serious. Like this is what happens on farms, and I am not pulling any punches. And everything that I share is supposed to make you think. And I really do love I love the people who get really upset, like you were saying. Elwood's acts as if my approach is I think everyone's vegan inside and they just haven't had the chance to have that interaction with an animal or have the conversation with themselves or learn the facts that will get them there. Um, and so when somebody thinks it's real, the emotions they're going to have are generally something like, I can't believe, humanity has fallen this far. A lot of people despair. They say things like, of course, that's what we're doing right now. This is so disgusting and everything. But then when they find out it's real, those emotions are also, I mean, when they find out it's not real, their emotions were real and they have an echo that they have to deal with. Um, and
Yeah,
yeah, then people message and they'll say, I thought this was funny, but maybe, and I do have people who say they go vegan or are going to try going vegetarian or they're going to cut things down and ask questions. And I have a whole thing on the website there to kind of guide people on the way that I think that can help people learn more and make the journey themselves.
absolutely. It's about helping people bring their walls down and their defenses. So, like you say on the website, like, do you get it? Like
Yes.
when you get it, you get it. When you know, you know. And if
Mm-hmm.
you're not at that moment yet, you're not
Yeah.
quite there, but then you'll know
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
the, yeah.
Yeah, my steps on the website on my about page are like that my four things that I think that you should that if you're not vegan yet that will help you get on that. And it was one of them was just follow a sanctuary online on or visit one or follow one online because just seeing the animals as individuals is so important. It's a way that, most of us never get to see a turkey be a turkey. And then I tell people to also join a Facebook group or some local vegan Facebook group. Generally, they're very kind. You don't even have to be vegan. You can go in there and you can just ask questions or lurk and get recipes and find new restaurants. Um, so I think that even just being exposed to it and being able to find out that vegans, well, a lot of us are very weird and we start dog meat farms, but also a lot of us are completely normal and we're just eating vegan mayo and it's fine.
Definitely, that's a great tip to avoid burnout and to just get started on your vegan journey is to find community, to find your
Hmm.
tribe, to find others uh,
Yeah.
in that way. Somebody's asking, do you want to share an inspiring story for someone who actually made the connection?
Yeah, let me see. I have some that I share all the time, but I was like, I wonder, I've had some recently that I was wondering. I had actually just the other day, and I'm gonna think about I'm gonna share how it felt to me, but it was a 16-year-old girl from New Zealand who messaged me, and she said, I totally like it was so cool. She's like, "Oh my God, I totally get what your website's about." And this is my favorite when people explain to me how the website works. And so she's like, "I get it. You're trying to catch people and you're going to make them go on this journey and it's so cool." And then she said, I'm so excited about this, but I'm only a vegetarian. I'd like to be vegan. Oh no, that was the thing. She says, "I used to be vegetarian, but I have to eat meat now because I have really low iron and my parents took me to the doctor and the doctor said I had to eat meat and she's like, but I really get what you're doing and someday I'd like to be vegan, but in the meantime, do you have any advice for me?" And I was so excited to just be like, look at
Yeah,
it's like the young people are okay and being able to encourage young people and not have to say you have to go vegan right now. But my encouragement to her is I was like, please follow the page and learn about animals and know that someday you're going to have the autonomy to feed yourself and to go to a doctor and figure out and follow your heart and everything like that. But right now, take care of yourself and learn as much as you can because the animals need you and they need you to be strong and they need you to understand what they're going through. And so this was like this lovely moment of being able to like that she was gutsy enough to reach out to the dog meat farm and say, I'm still eating meat, but I'm following you. What should I do?
mm,
And I think that we all need to be compassionate, especially the young people. We really want them on our side and we want to make sure that you don't have to be perfect. You have to have you'll get to perfect on not that there's a perfect, but you'll get better on your own as long as you can stay engaged and yeah. So I thought that that was a really lovely interaction.
that's beautiful. That makes your day,
Yeah.
right? It makes your day. That's why we're doing
Yeah.
what we do,
Mhm.
opening people's eyes through the positive or through the negative images.
Mhm.
We talk a lot on this channel about humane washing, and through labels and our,
Mhm.
the food system and how it's regulated. If people want to do that research, and I know you probably know a bit about that,
Mhm.
about the actual regulations in the animal
Yeah.
agriculture industry, but where do people go what's the best resource for that if they want to find the truth
I think
about labeling?
I mean, I actually I learned so much it was not recently. It was remember when Dominion came out? That was probably what 5 years, 6 years ago.
Mm,
And I lived in Portland, Oregon, and the local law school has an animal rights an animal law degree, and they came and they presented Dominion to anybody who was interested. They showed Dominion and they paused it and they interlaced it with the facts about what organic means and what free range actually means and all of these pieces. And I think a lot of these things changed a lot. I'm not an expert on them, but I think yeah, I can't tell you where to look for this stuff, but I
Mhm.
do know that like when you do dig into those facts, and then again, me sharing them satirically, being like, oh, an animal gets a piece of paper, access to a piece of paper this size. This visual like really sticks with you. Like it's the size of an A4 piece of paper.
Right.
So yeah, that wasn't a good answer, but I'm just saying it's yes, it's very important to know that stuff.
Yes. Yeah. So you can swap out the dog for that.
Yeah.
Somebody was just asking if those voicemails were real.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
I have
It's down to, yeah.
I honestly have hundreds of them. I probably probably hundreds I have not listened to because and also like there you get the cadences I'm listening to it like I get a lot of fake orders, a lot of it's a lot of meat eaters who think it's funny and they're just like I just want to order 10 pounds of pug bacon. I want a whole Rottweiler. And I'm just like, got it, skip, skip, skip. And then I wait till I find the angry ones. And then it's one of my favorite things is also I get a lot of people, there's a long silence and then the laughter of a big group of people because it's like a Saturday night and they're all drunk and they're like decided to call the
Let's
dog
call
farm.
the dog farm.
And
That'll be fun.
but what's funny about that too is while the people who are calling and making that order, they're trolling the troll. Look at them. Uh, I've also gotten under their skin enough that they've called me. Like they made the effort to do that.
Right.
They went to the website, they called me, they left me a voicemail. It's on their mind.
Right. Yeah. You've triggered something.
Yes.
You've triggered something in them and they may respond with, doubling down on their,
Mm-hmm.
their defense mechanisms, or, it may
Yeah.
be that a thought process, of transformation
Yeah.
is happening.
Yeah. And I think that anytime you can talk to somebody about veganism, any way you can do it is great. Again, Faraz Orsini has all these great like moments in his life where he's like, and I was at the dentist's office and I started talking to the hygienist. And it's just like anytime you can get people to engage in it, I mean, in a positive way. I mean, I think that's one of the cool things that it was unintentional that Elwood's is entertaining both to vegans and non-vegans alike. And the fact that you can be like, what is some way to engage people on this topic that's not immediately fighting or immediately, showing something extremely graphic? As much as I just want to show really graphic stuff sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So any sort of, I mean, and we'll wrap up in a bit, but any sort of other words for activists who are just starting out, or, the next generation of activists, how they can follow your lead and your inspiration and come up with their own version. Any do's, don'ts? What do you wish you could do differently, or what would you, knowing what you know now?
Stay organized from the beginning because you never know when something could blow up and then you're stuck with this random filing system you figured out. Uh, no, I think that again, what I was saying earlier is so important. I think that you need to feel free to make stuff. You need to feel free to try stuff and abandon stuff and use your skills to do something. Maybe it's art, maybe it's advertising, maybe it's, you know, accounting. There are so many groups right now. That's what's so exciting and it's overwhelming to me too, is because I'm just one person, and every time I find out about a new vegan resource, I'm like, "Ah, this would have simplified so many things." Groups like Vegan Hacktivists, where they have so many volunteers who can help build things for you. They can help you build websites. They can help you build chat bots, or do graphic design. There's so many tools for your ideas, and I love the things that I'm seeing. I love seeing people figure out like what is something funny we can do? What is there something that's going to flip the script in a way that hasn't been done before? And I think that we are at this point where we're going to be looking at we're going to be looking at change, especially as you and I were talking just before we started recording about is it 11 Park, I don't know,
Yeah,
11
I was just
Madison
going to
Park.
say 11 Madison Park, and I was going to ask you about your sort of clever immediate response. This is
Yeah.
very timely because it was just this week, I believe. And for those unfamiliar with 11 Madison Park, they're a fancy New York City restaurant. Their chef owner changed the restaurant over to 100% plant-based a few years ago, and now just announced he's reintroducing meat and dairy. Very
Mhm.
disappointing, but you reacted immediately to sort of
Mhm.
snag that and turn it to your messaging.
Yeah. Well, before getting into that part, I just wanted to say what I think about that is I believe it was the Cranky Vegan on Instagram had a really good post about this being like, as vegans, we put a lot of hope in capitalism to change the world for us. We're like, what's going to change the world is beyond beef and impossible meat. And I say that as somebody who used to work for one of those companies. Like, and I believe that too. We need to make sure that there's a way to feed people when they want to change. We have to give them alternatives and things like that. But his thought is like, we're not seeing ec- capitalism turning the tide on veganism because people are fickle and they're like, I want a really fancy restaurant now. I don't want like we just change so quickly, and I don't know if and I've been alive long enough to know that no restaurant lasts. They all go away. And so we have to find different ways to get our message out, and is a nice burger is not going to change someone's mind as much as a graphic video of how that burger was made, unfortunately, or other
Yeah.
ways, whether it's political pressure or you know advocacy, not advocacy campaigns, but you know what I'm saying, other big campaigns to make change.
Yeah, absolutely. And folks should check out that post on Instagram because it's well done.
Yeah,
As all of your content is, they should
yeah,
follow Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and all the
all the
places.
places. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about my response to that is really cool because people just email me stuff. I mean, they message me on Facebook or Instagram things they see, and I'd like to open up to anybody out there. If you see something, whether it's farmer Instagram or a news story or something, send it to me because that makes my life easier. That I can just open my inbox and be like, that makes me mad, and I'm gonna make something about it. But that one, it was funny because his words were the reason he's changing to he's adding meat is because people who ate meat were not feeling welcome in his vegan restaurant. And I was like, you know who also doesn't feel welcome in any restaurant? People who eat dog meat. I feel so left out and like, so where's our dog meat? And so I just said that they're serving dog meat now, and now we can all feel welcome there. So
Good God. Backwards, going backwards. So maybe for to close, you could put your Farmer Molly hat back on
yes.
just for a minute. Like, Molly,
Yeah.
why don't you farm cats? What's
Uh,
going on? Cats would be delicious. Why are you not farming cats?
Cats are friends, not food. Also, on our farms, they have jobs. So, if you're interested in cats, there's a cat farm in Malta called the Gourmet Cat Butcher, which you can find on Facebook. And they are farming cats if that's what you're into. I'm not saying that cats have feelings or emotions or anything like that. I'm just saying they're really busy on our farm, and that made them our friend. So,
Uh-huh. Hmm.
mhm.
Speciesism at work.
I don't know what you're talking about. If these cats didn't have
Yeah.
jobs, they would. Never mind. I won't get into that.
Etc. Etc.
Etc. I just go through
Etc.
my Rolodex.
Yes, very, very good. Well, that's
But
cool. That's
cavemen
cool.
had pet cats.
They did?
I don't know.
Oh,
Doesn't
okay.
matter. Who
We'll stick
cares?
with it.
It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, all the reasons.
All the
Truth be known,
reasons.
they're too small. They don't
They're
have a
too.
lot
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
all the business reasons for that. So very, very cool. I don't know, Molly, it's been just really a wonderful, amazing conversation. And I'm just so glad you're able to take time away from your farming to join us and to enlighten us.
Thanks so much for having me. And yeah, I got to get up at 4 a.m. to do the dead walk and see who made it through the night. So never
Yes.
stops.
Yes, no pity here. No pity coming from us. All right. So in closing, then, as we wrap up, for as little as $2 a month, please consider becoming a patron by finding AAC on Patreon. Your donations allow AAC to continue to provide free educational resources for activists, which ultimately saves more animals, right? The more activists we have, the furthering of the animal rights movement. If you're interested in becoming a mentor or mentee or want to get involved, please visit our website. Please hit subscribe here on our channel and give us a like. Okay, folks, so even though we had a lighthearted tone tonight, we are not minimizing the plight of animals. They are the victims and they need our active help. So find something, as Molly said, find something you're taking away from this and find your way and get active now. Until next time, stay strong, get out there, live vegan, y'all. AAC signing off. Bye.
Bye.